So question 14, which is the last question of the paper. So it says a scientist is studying a population of mice on an island. The number of mice n in the population t months after the start of the study is modelled by that equation there. Find the number of mice in the population at the start of the study. Nice easy start, so t equals 0. So t equals 0, which implies the number of mice n equals 900 over 3 plus 7e to the 0 equals 900 over 10, which is 90. So part B asks, show that the rate of growth dn by t is given by that expression there, n 300 minus n over 1200. So there's two ways of doing this. We're going to have to differentiate this, but we could use either the chain rule, where it's 900 lots of the denominator to the power of minus 1, or we could use the quotient rule, and I think I prefer to use the quotient rule on this one, just given that it's looks quite a complicated one to do. The quotient rule should help us get it in a more factorizable form, ready to get like that, and it should do that much more quickly. So the numerator equals 900, which means that du by dt equals 0, so the differential of any constant is 0. Then the denominator, we have v equals 3 plus 7, and it was e to the minus 0.25t, which means that dv by dt equals, well, 3 differentiates to 0. Then we get 7e to the minus 0.25t times minus 0.25. So minus 0.25 is minus a quarter, so we get minus 7 over 4 e to the minus 0.25t. So now plug in that in the quotient rule, which implies that dn by dt equals, and the quotient rule is in the formula booklet, so we've got v times du by dt, which is 0, minus u times dv by dt, all over v squared, which is 3 plus 7e to the minus 0.25t squared. So just reminding ourselves, this is what we were given in the question, and this is the answer that we need. So let's try and split this up into two different things. We want to get an n times a 300 minus n over 1200. So first of all, notice that these two minus signs cancel each other out. And I'm going to separate out this fraction. It says 900 times the top there. Well, I'm going to take the 900 there and put it over one of these denominators. So we've got two denominators there times by each other. We've got 3 plus 7e to the minus 25t's multiplied by each other. So one of them is going to go there. 3 plus 7e to the minus 0.25t times, and let's just go with what we're left with here, which is 7 over 4 e to the minus 0.25t over 3 plus 7e to the minus 0.25t. And notice that this bit here is equal to n, as per what we were given in the question. So equal to n times, then what I'm going to do, I'm going to times by 900 over 900. So I get 7 over 4 e to the negative 0.25t over 3 plus 7e to the negative 0.25t times 900 over 900. So now what I'm going to do, I'm going to change the order in which I do the multiplication on this numerator. So I'm going to take that and move it to that side, take this 900, put it there. So it still says exactly what it did. So we're just doing the multiplication in a different order. Well, notice again that this here is just n. So equals n times n, which is n squared, times 7 over 4 e to the minus 0.25t over 900. So the final piece of this comes from looking at what n was. So n was 900 over 3 plus 7 e to the minus 0.25t. So if we rearrange this, the bit we want rid of is e to the minus 0.25t. In fact, we can see we've got a 7 e to the minus 0.25t there. So if we rearrange this to say 7 e to the minus 0.25t equals, we're onto something. So we multiply by the denominator and divide by n. We get 900 over n equals 3 plus 7e to the minus 0.25t, which means that 7e to the minus 0.25t equals 900 over n minus 3. And we might as well combine that into a single fraction, which means that 7e to the minus 0.25t, and that's times by n over n to get equals 900 minus 3n all over n. So that's equal to n squared times 7e to the minus 0.25t is, and let's bring this 4 onto the denominator. So 4 times 900 is 3600. So 7e to the minus 0.25t over 3600, which is equal to n squared times, in the numerator becomes 900 minus 3n over n times 1 over 3600. So that denominator there is the 1 over 3600 equals, so n on the top, 900 minus 3n over 3600 equals, let's take out a factor of 3, so 3n, 300 minus n over 3600. Let's simplify it. 3 over 3600 equals 1 over 1200. So equals n 300 minus n over 1200. Let's just check that was what we're asked to find. Indeed it is. N 300 minus n over 1200. Rock hard, that question. Real test of perseverance. For more videos like this, subscribe to our YouTube channel, and to find out more about our Skype tuition and revision courses, go to alevelmathsrevision.com.